Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Sega Man back here with another game talk with Sega Man. Yeah, it's real late, man. I'm starting this real late. I'm gonna wait for people to come in. You know what I'm saying? We are live right now. We are live, so I'm gonna wait for some of the Xbox fan base to come in. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be inviting my boy Hebot. We're gonna chop it up tonight. Yes, it's kind of late for Game Talk with Sega Man, but I had a busy day today. Had to do some shopping, had to do some things with the family. You know what I'm saying? But we're gonna get into some things to talk about here tonight, and we're not gonna be here too long tonight. You know what I mean? We're not gonna be here really long. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be here for a little while, just a little bit. You know what I mean? Not too long. Gonna wait for some people to come in. Everybody's welcome. Come and chop it up with me on Game Talk with Sega Man. I'm gonna invite my boy Hebot back in. So give me a minute. Gonna share this to him. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna go in and talk about some gaming news, some topics that happened this week. You know, we're gonna talk about a couple of things that have been going on with my boy E Rock. You know what I'm saying? People attacking him on social media. You know, kind of messed up. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're gonna do that here. I'm gonna invite my boy Hebot. Sending him the link now. I'm saying, and when he comes in, he'll come in. You know what I mean? So we're gonna be chopping it up with him. Hope everybody's having a great weekend. You know what I mean? Playing some games, whatever system you rock out on. You know what I'm saying? But it is kind of late for me. Hopefully, some of the, some of my, regular folks come in and hang out with me. You know what I'm saying? All newcomers are welcome. Come and chill with me. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about some stuff that's been going on this week, some gaming news. You know, me and Hebot, you know, been doing this show straight for a while now. You know, Hebot, my special guest, my brother, my Xbox brother. You know what I'm saying? I rock out with him, rock out with E Rock, the Exile podcast, our podcast on Sunday nights. You know, the Exile brothers. You know, shouts out to 100 Intro Media Gaming. Xbox Has No Games will be premiering tonight at 11:30. You know, they go buck wild in there. You know what I'm saying? It's a great podcast. You guys need to check his channel out, 100 on YouTube. I want to give a big shout out to my man, the Graphic God. The Graphic God does great work. You know what I'm saying? When he does the gamer picks. So if you ever want a gamer pick, go check him out. He does great work. You know what I'm saying? If you're starting a channel, he can do banners for you. He can do intros. He could do you a nice gamer pick. Go check him out. Graphic Gone on YouTube. Retro Renegades is his podcast. Go check him out. You know what I'm saying? Go check out Hebot, the most powerful gamer on YouTube. We got next when he has time. We do a great podcast on there. You know, check out Toys in My Closet. You know what I mean? He does a great job with Toys in My Closet. He just did a video showcasing some G.I. Joe figures. Very good. Very good video. What's up to my brother Unlimited One Productions, man? I need you to go check out Unlimited One Productions on his channel on YouTube. He be putting out fire videos. You know what I'm saying? He does a lot of gaming content on there. You know, he does a lot of gameplay on there, different types of games. Talks about things that are going on in gaming news. He's always on top of it, always on the ball when it comes to gaming news, man. He is part of the Exile podcast. He's our brother, one of the Exile brothers. You know what I'm saying? He's lit. You know, you need to check out Unlimited One Productions, man. Shouts out to my brother. You know what I mean? We're going to have a great podcast tomorrow night. we defended our brother E-Rock. You know what I'm saying? We got some, we got some, some, how can I say this, man? We got some jealous people out there, you know what I'm saying, want to try to attack my boy, you know what I'm saying? But we had to retaliate. That's just the way it is. Me, Unlimited One Productions, and Hebot. We had to retaliate on that. I mean, you can't be, you know, uh, trying to beat up on my man. You know what I'm saying? You know, we defend him to the end. You know what I'm saying? We look out for each other in the exile realm. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. That's the way it's always going to be. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're gonna chop it up tonight. I'm gonna wait for Hebot. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna talk about some stuff that happened during the week, including E-Rock. You know what I'm saying? Stuff that's going on. Not much gaming news, not a whole bunch of gaming news out there. You know what I'm saying? But Unlimited One, he got the Xbox Series X. Man, he's been playing some really good games on there. I think he's playing one now called Werewolf. That looks pretty interesting. You know what I'm saying? Um, but he does some good videos, man. He does gaming collecting too. Does videos on that. He does pickups where he gets new games he picks up. You know what I mean? For the Xbox One, and the original OG Xbox, he shows stuff like that too. You know what I'm saying? He has a nice collection of Xbox games. Xbox One games too. There's my brother Hebot. So let's get Hebot in here. What's up, Hebot? What's going on, my man? Hebot's in the building. He'll be on. He'll be talking in a minute. You know what I'm saying? But let's welcome Hebot. The Game Talk with Sega Man. We always do. We always have a good show. We always have a good show, man. When he comes in. What's up to everybody in the chat? Unlimited One Productions is here. He's always here. You know what I'm saying? Supporting.
Can you hear me? Sega Man.
I can hear you loud and clear.
You can hear me? You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just that the phone, like I said, when I did the last StreamYard Sunday, it's reading as Bluetooth, so I had to go in and change it to speakerphone.
You sound good, Hebot. That sounds good.
Oh, good. I don't sound echoey or nothing, right?
Hey, whatever you did, it's great. You know what I'm saying?
I don't sound echoey or nothing, right?
Sounds pretty good, Hebot. What'd you do? You
Okay.
did something, man, because it sounds good.
No, I'm just on the phone regularly. I'm on the phone, speakerphone.
Yeah. Unlimited One Production said Hebot's loud as hell. We need Hebot on the Exile podcast like this.
No, I just put it on speakerphone. I guess I'm gonna have to try it on speaker. The thing is that usually it captures all the the echo and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it sounds real good, crisp and clear right now.
All right, cool, good. That's good. I'm happy. I'm good. So what's going on, my brother?
What's up, Hebot, man? But hey, Hebot,
Nothing.
man, I wanted to ask you a
On the
question.
road again.
You're always on the road again, man. We're gonna have to get you that CD. You sing that? What's his name? Willie Nelson. We gotta get you that
On
CD.
the road again. Yeah. I'm back on the road again.
Non-stop.
Yeah, go ahead. What's the question? What's up, brother?
I heard that people that own a PlayStation 5 there was a company out there called Amazing 5 or something like that, or Omega 5, where you can order black to make your PlayStation 5 black, all black, the plates. But then
It's a custom company that was doing customs plates to make it look all black. Yeah, or like think like the PS2 or something like that.
People that pre-ordered these or was going to order these, they got ripped off from the company.
Oh, really? I did not know. Wow, that's crazy.
I
Why
heard
they had to cancel them out?
I heard, and they're mad as hell. I heard a video from. I got to give a shout out to Techno Blast. He did a short video on it where they pre-ordered these or they ordered them or something like that, and um, they've been had. You know, they stole their money or something, or they ain't hearing from them. You know what I'm saying? To get these plates to make the PlayStation 5 all black.
Right. Wow, that's crazy. I thought it was because
Sorry it took so long. I just was trying to get my device and comfort her.
no. You're good. You're good. No, I thought it was something that they had a deal, and I guess they had with Sony, and then it didn't pan through. I'm figuring that's what ended up happening. That's what I thought, anyways.
He was saying something about, I can't remember all what he said about it, but he said a lot of the PlayStation fans are real pissed off because I don't think they can get any refunds or anything like that. I think they ran off with their money. You know, is what I'm hearing. You know what I mean?
Right, right. Oh wow.
Bad, man. It's kind of crazy.
I mean that all you know coincides with basically like when you take a chance or risk to buy and buy a those consoles, let's say off Macari or off OfferUp or even eBay and stuff like that. Well, I mean, at least eBay, they give you a protection, and so does Amazon. Like, if you buy something off them, they protect you. But when you buy mainly from places like Macari, OfferUp, and things like that, they kind of go hand in hand where it's a thing that's taking a big risk because either they're gonna take you for a sucker and rob your money, or the console can come defective, let's say, and 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 then you have no way to really get it exchanged, right? Unless you call the company, register the console, and tell them, listen, I bought it off someone, and I want to register it. Here's the VIN number, and can you please help me repair it? That's probably the only way. But you're still gonna have to pay money out of your pocket to repair it because you didn't buy it with under a store which offers some type of warranty, at least a limited warranty, at least a year or so. Usually is how it works. And then they give you the option of buying extended warranties. A lot of times, and they cost like maybe for 2 years, like another $50 or $80 or whatever the case may be. But that's the reason why those things like that, when it's not authentic or official, is kind of bad because it's a big risk because you never know how it's going to play out. But I was under the impression that it was a company that actually reached out to Sony, and they made some type of deal where they said it's okay and allowed them to make these aftermarket or what they call third party customized plates for the system, and and then as you know, what you call it, oh boy,
What is it?
and they were able to sell it as second, like third party plates as
Right.
opposed to official from Sony themselves.
Yeah.
So that was the impression I was under. I didn't hear anything further, but again, at the same time, I'm probably just not paying attention because I'm paying attention to a lot of other things going on, within the industry. So I guess maybe it passed through me and I didn't really see it. But that's kind of, that's horrible. That's not good. That's bad. That's not a good thing that people got them because they're wanting to get something pretty specific or something nice and they end up not getting the product. You know.
Yeah, that was and if that's happening, man, that's crazy. You know what I mean? You got to research, but you got to research these companies that are offering things like that first. And I think a lot of people rush to do things and they don't research and do their background checks on these companies that do stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Right.
You know?
But did he give any more details on why or what's going on or if something's going to be done?
I think they might. I don't know if they're going to sue the company, or something like that.
Who,
But
Sony themselves,
I think
or the
the
people are suing the company?
I think the customers might be suing. I don't know if Sony's really responsible for that because it's not. I think it's a third party or a second. You know what I mean? That was offering this. I don't know if Sony will be held reliable for that or not. You know what I mean?
Right, right. I mean, again, it all depends if Sony had made a deal with the third party companies that were producing them and said, yeah, okay, we can create them, and then they end up, doing the hokey doke, maybe Sony can be held liable at some point for something, but it kind of technically is not their fault either. But at the same time, they should be knowing the type of companies they're doing deals with, if they're, legit or if they're not legit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Or if they have like a good history or a history of, not really doing good with their customers, with products they sell, and things like of that nature. So, it is their responsibility if they're even if they even gave the okay to do it. It is their responsibility to kind of let them know, to kind of know what kind of business that people they're doing business with, even if they're third party company. You see what I'm saying?
yeah. Oh, I think it is Sony that's going to sue them.
It is.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
to sue them over the black PS5 faceplates. Yeah, I think it's Sony that's going to do it, man.
Okay. Okay. They don't get into it. Why? They didn't specify why.
I didn't see. I know. I found out that they are suing them for it. I didn't look too much into it. I know I heard out there in the gaming streets that they're definitely going to do that. It must have to be because they're not going to meet the demand of doing this, and they
Okay.
just ran off with their money. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But that's a shame. That's actually a shame, man.
Okay. Hey, second man, give me 1 second. I'm gonna have to come back in and out because someone tried to call and I can't even hear you. Uh,
Oh, okay.
I'll be right back. Give me 1 second, okay?
All right, all right. Yeah, but Hebot will be back. You know what I'm saying? He's got a call. But yeah, I was hearing something about the that Sony's going to be suing this company for those black faceplates, man. You know what I'm saying? I heard a lot of people got ripped off. I seen a little video. Shouts out to Techno Blast on his channel. Go check out Techno Blast's channel. He's talking a little bit about it. I don't think he goes super into detail, but this is a thing. Sony is suing this company for these black faceplates to make the PlayStation 5 all black. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think people put money down on them, and they ran away with their money. You know what I mean? They're not going to get what they paid for. You know what I'm saying? And that's a shame, man. That that's happening to them. With that. You know what I mean? If I was a Sony fan right now, I'd be really pissed off. You know what I mean? If somebody took my money and you ain't gonna deliver my product to me, you know what I mean? That's kind of messed up. Shouts out to the 5 people that are watching Game Talk with Sega Man. You know what I'm saying? I really appreciate y'all dropping by. If you have anything you want to talk about, about gaming, leave it in the chat comment section. Salute to everybody rocking out with me tonight. I know it's late, guys. It's late that I'm doing game talk with Sega Man, but I had a very busy day today. I do some shopping. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. I do a lot of shopping and do things today. I really wanted to do it earlier, but I just couldn't do it. At the time. So excuse me for that. Next weekend, it'll be much, much earlier. But shouts out to everybody out there rocking out with me on Game Talk, man. I really appreciate it. But we're gonna wait for my boy Hebot to come back in. You know what I'm saying? But I've been playing a lot of games, man. What's up, T Reaper? T Reaper in the building. What's going on, T Reaper? What's up, brother? How are you, man? Hope everything's good with you, man. It's good to hear from you, T. What's going on, man? I'm still worried and wondering what Fire Boss is doing. I hope Fire Boss is good. You know what I mean? Hope he's doing well. You know what I'm saying? It'd be really good to hear from him, T. So if you ever get a hold of him again, let him know Sega Man wants to know what's up. Tell him to hit me up on Instagram. I just want to know how he's doing. I'd like to have you both on a guest on my podcast, man. If you guys are have the time to do it, you know what I mean. Just let me know, T Reaper. If you want to come on, man, and chop up some gaming with me, brother. Just let me know, man, and I'll get you on. I'm always on Saturdays, so let me know, man. T Reaper's my brother. I've been watching T Reaper for a long time. You know what I'm saying? He's really cool Xbox dude. You know what I mean? Much respect to T Reaper. And Unlimited One Productions just put up companies sell skins, consoles all the time. There are skins for the Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S. I know it's different from the faceplates of the PS5 technically. Yeah. But yeah, that's a shame, man, if that really happened, with with the PlayStation fans, man. I know it's made gaming news. I think you could check it out on I think it's what's it called? Polygon? Or one of them Polygon or one of them. I think they have an article about it if you want to find out more about them, getting robbed money for black faceplates, man. Oh, I hear you, T. Been feeling amazing. Been just vids daily. Yeah, hey T, man, that's good to hear though, man. That's good to hear, brother. I'm glad you can come and rock out with me, man. I'm gonna wait for Hebot will be back in, but what's going on, guys? What you guys been playing, man? What's been going on out here? You got anything y'all wanna talk about on here? Anything out here in gaming news? What's up? Anything? There hasn't been really too much this week when it came to gaming news. Not a whole lot. You know what I mean? I'm just chopping it up with Hebot. We're just gonna talk about different things tonight. You know what I mean? But I'm very excited, man. There's going to be a lot of great games that we're going to be getting on the Xbox side and Game Pass, man. Oh yeah, you're right, T Reaper. They did a great last quarter. They really did, man. Oh yeah, T, did you get your Series X yet? Did you get your Xbox Series X yet, man? Let me know in the comment sections below. Yeah, you know what? That's right. Uh, Unlimited brother, I still have some faceplates, man, for my 360, man. I have a Gears of War one, and I have a Mass Effect one, actually. Yeah, I have two of the greats. I have the old school faceplates for the first 360, man. I have a Gears, and I have a Mass Effect one. I'm thinking about actually, I'm thinking about doing? I'm thinking about actually buying like a broken 360, you know what I'm saying, and then just display it with those faceplates, down in my game room, you know what I'm saying. Hebot's back. Let's get him back in.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Segaman?
Yep. What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm back. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
We were just
What were you
talking,
saying?
we were just talking about the those plates, for the PlayStation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, still just talking about that a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
I heard you saying something about the 360 ones too, right?
Yeah, Unlimited One Productions, our brother put up that he has talking about the 360 swappable faceplates, and I was telling him that I have a Gears of War one and I have a Mass Effect one put up. You know, uh,
I have three of them.
which ones do you have?
I have Gears of War. I think it was two. Might have been one. It's the one with Marcus Phoenix is looking at Rom right in his face. It's kind of black and then it has the reddish on it. I have one mint, pristine, brand new for Death Smiles. Do you hear me? Sega Man. Sega Man, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Sega Man, can you hear me?
Yes.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I heard you.
I have the Death Smile one that came when you bought the game. If you bought the collector's edition one, it came with a actual faceplate, so I still have that one.
Uh-huh.
And I have the one when they were making the promotion for it because I also got it for free because I think I did a pre-order for it in GameStop
Yeah.
when they were doing the Superman game with Brandon Roth.
Nice.
Remember the Superman one with Brandon Roth?
Yeah. I don't have it, but
So,
yeah, I remember.
so when you pre-ordered the game, you got a plate free, or as a bonus, pre-order bonus. So I got it with the pre-order bonus, but then the game was like terrible and shit.
Of course.
So,
The faceplate was better than the game.
I guess so. Yeah. So I have those three. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't ever think about really putting them up. I guess because it's a hard way to display them because of the plastic, the weight, plus they're ovals. The way they're oval, it's kind of hard to figure out a way to like display them. I guess. So I never really bothered. But yeah, I have those three. Yeah.
So Hebot, we were talking earlier, man. I want you, let's talk about a little bit about the comparisons between the Division 2 games that were displayed on Digital Foundry, man. And I guess there's a lot of people out in in the PlayStation community that are mad right now about that, man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's only a matter of time when the disparity with multiplats and even exclusives as far as resolution, texture quality, even frame rate in certain situations and circumstances are going to really show between the consoles because like I was telling you earlier and like I was speaking with my boys earlier this week where they brought up to my attention, we were talking about it, that for what is going on and being said, AMD still hasn't really brought out or still hasn't given the ability to utilize some of the features, that the console, offers, right? Like, for example, they're saying that, you really haven't been able to really use the RDNA2 capabilities and even DirectX 12 Ultimate, right? Which both Series S and X, they both have it built in and they both support. And a lot of these updates are really like soft updates. They're not even real Xbox Series X or even PlayStation 5 enhanced updates. They're more like a soft update because for like, let's say for like the Xbox One X, the one you have, for example, or even the PlayStation 4 Pro, although in the case of Division, I think it was an enhanced for next generation for this consoles, but it's not really like they didn't really go all out, I guess. Uh, because obviously they're probably making Division 3 or maybe another game similar to it or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, huh?
Yeah, I'm listening.
So, um, basically, the biggest, notice that it was like a really big difference in loading time. Even on the S, was superior to the PlayStation 5. Um, because it's a more efficient little machine. But the difference is that obviously it was 1080p versus I think it was 1700p on the PS5. But it still runs 60 frames. Pretty locked and efficiently. It still had details and assets of details like reflections, shadows, mist, fog, things like that. That they basically were absent and completely missing from the PS5 version. And they were still there on the Xbox Series X, of course, and on the Xbox Series S. So they also showed that the resolution on the Series X, for example, was actual native 4K with some occasional sections that had some dynamic resolution for the sake of performance, so that it would stay at a better performance. But it was like 98% 4K most of the time natively, according to the analysis that Digital Foundry did. But the biggest funny takeaway out of all this is it's hysterical because what happens now is you're seeing the PlayStation side of the community, particularly the crumb side, the ones that like to clown, that were being trolls all last generation, things like that, accusing Digital Foundry of having deals and being in cahoots with Microsoft, right? But they're still being very thorough and fair and even damage controlling to a certain extent for those PlayStation 5 versions. You see what I'm saying? Like they're being more logical about it, being more realistic, and they're saying, although it still loads up low, slower, and although it may not have all these assets, or although it may not be native 4K versus 1700p, it's still a hell of a good looking game. It still looks gorgeous. It's still worth playing. If you're a PlayStation 5 owner, you should be happy. It shouldn't be deter or detract from the game. Basically, what you heard a lot of Xbox guys like us say all last generation with multiplats and certain games when they weren't, when they were like 900 versus, let's say, 1080p, right? And we would say, well, and the fact that the Xbox One has a fantastic upscaler, to be honest, unless you were playing on a lot bigger TV, stretching those pixels or polygons, you really couldn't tell the difference. It was absolutely no bear, right? And now they're like, even though the disparity is a lot bigger and larger, they'll still be like, oh, you can't really tell, when the truth is you can tell, especially if you have it side by side. So it's funny that they're doing that now. They're like, oh, they must be getting paid by Microsoft. But when we said, is that Digital Foundry, it was first and foremost, it was created and it was funded by Eurogamer, right? And one of the guys at Eurogamer, the head guy, he's supposedly, or not supposedly, he has a good relationship with one of the heads from Sony. I think where he's married to his sister or something like that, according to what the word is in the streets of what happened. It was all on NeoGAF before, and I think Tim Dog did this whole big thing on it where NeoGAF was in cahoots and talking about all the players that are connected with each other and stuff like that. And
Ebot,
some type of proof. Yeah, what's up?
you're good
Can you
now.
hear me?
You were botting a little bit. You're good now. What's up, 100?
Hey, what's up, 100 Xbox for life? That's right. You have a dollar? Showing that supposedly, and they showed the people that were involved for Sony stuff, and that the proof came out. Somebody had tweeted it out. I think it was New Legal. I think it was Dorian who put it out. And
Uh-huh.
Old School G. I think they both think you say. I think them both. They were the ones who put it up, and they were doing it. And I was like, wow, nice. But how long we've been saying this? But because the suspicion's been there. We know something hadn't been right. But obviously, when we say those things as Xbox fans, the first thing that comes out of people's mouths, oh no, uh, you know, they're just talking because it's in defense of Xbox and they're hating on PlayStation, and that's all they're doing, fanboy shit. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So you know, it's funny how everything now, the tides have turned, right? Everything's different now because now it's like, oh, it's Xbox paying people off. Xbox doesn't really care about these people, or Xbox this. Like they're trying to use what we have said all this time, that it must be some type of foul play because of certain things, the fingers pointing in certain directions, and because they're not being fair when it came to when they did their analysis for Xbox games, but they would go all in detail with you know Nintendo games for the Switch, for example, or even games for the PS4. So it's funny how now it's a different story. Now it's a different narrative.
But if the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't be saying, "Well, the Xbox version is still good. You should it's worth playing." They wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? If it was the shoe was on the other foot, they wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't be
Right.
damage
Well,
control. You know what I
when the
mean?
shoe was on the other foot, all last generation with Xbox One, it was either we were forming drama, we were being conspiracy theorists, or we were just being Xbox fanboy extremists. All those labels that we got. And now here it is. Now it's different because the PlayStation 5 is obviously um, the weaker of the console, right? And it's
It's not
starting and it's
performing.
starting well, it's starting to show, and I'm gonna tell you, I'm pretty sure, like I said, as time progresses on, because there's a lot of hardware that really hasn't been tapped into yet on the Series X and even the Series S. You're probably gonna see more and bigger or wider disparities. Does that make a game bad on another console? No, absolutely not.
No, it doesn't.
But the truth of the matter is they're still paying $500 for their console because Sony under engineered because it's expensive, and they probably, like I've said many times, because they don't have the kind of capital that Microsoft has, couldn't afford to really make better silicone and hardware. Um, you know, for next generation consoles, they did the best they could and at the highest performance they could based on their budget with the R&D. And people just are going to have to accept the fact that this is the reality, that this is how it is. It's not fanboyism or throwing shade. It's just this is the truth of the situation. So, yeah, man, keep talking. I'm gonna step out for 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right, man. Yeah, man. But I want to give a big shout out to my brother, 100 Intro Media Gaming. 100's in the house. Say what's up to my man 100. Go check out his channel. Go check out Xbox Has No Games. Premieres tonight at 11:30 p.m. They go buck wild in there, man. They just go in there raw, tell how it is about gaming news out here, in these gaming streets. You know what I'm saying? Tune in to my brother 100's channel tonight at 11:30 p.m. Rocking out with the Xbox Has No Game podcast with my brother Flip Money, Chaos, Livewire, Punisher. You know what I'm saying? All them good brothers over there. Go check them out tonight, guys. You know, nice late night podcast to listen to when you're chilling, playing games, or laid in the bed with your wifey or your girl. You know what I'm saying? Put your headphones on. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes our boy 100 does Xbox After Dark. You know what I'm saying? It was a great podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? It's funny. You know what I mean? It's just an awesome podcast, man. Support my brother 100 out here in these gaming streets. You know what I mean? So check him out. You know what I mean on YouTube. You know, and Twitter. You know, go check 100 out. Shouts out to the 5 people that are watching right now uh, on Game Talk with Sega Man. I really appreciate y'all coming through. You know what I mean? Shouts out to Wild Horse 74. What's up, brother? Shouts out to T Reaper. T Reaper was here. He still might be here in the house. Unlimited One Productions. You know what I'm saying? Just chilling here, talking to my brother Hebot. You know, and just chopping it up. You know, but you know what? That's a shame, guys. Let's be honest. Uh, Digital Foundry is still trying to damage control the PlayStation. It's a shame. It really is. It's a shame, man. You know what I mean? They would
Well,
never.
you know what it is too, Sega Man. Not to interrupt you. Forgive me for that.
Go ahead.
What it is that right now it's not so much they're damage controlling, even though in a sense it is damage controlling because you know we are mature enough in the Xbox community. The big, you know, the adults, the ones that act like adults, right? Like you, 100. So many people, like, you know how we talk to Wild Horse and he'll agree and he'll disagree with us, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, he still acts like a mature adult. He doesn't act like a little child. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a lot of these guys on the other side do. So what Digital Foundry is doing now is they're acting responsible because they want to make sure that they don't hurt the PlayStation brand, right?
Yeah.
And that's the difference that they never applied, right, to, let's say, the Xbox One during the Xbox One's generation, right? They didn't apply that same tactic, technique, style, or approach for that matter. So what they did, what they would do is they'll be like, yeah, Halo is 1080p, 60 frames, but if you look at the assets of these creatures, they are in 500p, and that's kind of distracting. Or you see, you know, what is that called when you're walking and it disappears and it appears as it's coming along? Remember that, you guys, huh? They're like texture popping and stuff like that. And they would make like a whole big fuss and pop about it. Like, well, you know, this is a problem because this is distracting. When in reality, none of those things, right? None of those things. Oh, Jazz Best, that's very kind of you. He says, Sega Man, love your videos. Keep up the good work. Very kind of him. Yeah, he does some really nice, really genuine videos. Sega Man's a good guy. Don't forget to support him and shout him out and let other people know where they can find him. So you know they genuinely, the real aspect of a game is always gameplay, or the gameplay style, the gameplay mechanics, and they didn't implement that during the whole last generation. Let's be honest, they would never really do that unless it was a exclusive and they couldn't compare it with something else. And even then, because they did it with Quantum Break, as you remember, Quantum Break was an absolutely wonderful game, doing groundbreaking things that were very next generation, right? That no other game done before, because it was using new tactics, new techniques. And to be honest too, that was the first time that Remedy built the Source Light engine. it was still under construction. It was still in its infancy. So they still had to learn it more and more, which now I'm pretty sure with Hellblade and with Hellblade 2, they use the same engine. It's just going to, not in Hellblade, sorry, with their upcoming game that they're going to do, probably for Crossfire, they're going to use it and implement it and do a good work, right? And make it better and better as they make more games, right? With that engine that Microsoft helped them fund, and it took them almost 7 years, I think it was, to actually build, because I think it was a brand new engine even from Alan Wake. I don't even think it was the Alan Wake engine. I think they built one from scratch for next gen, so the games will look better, more realistic, and they could implement all the things they did with the time rewind and freezing things that you could actually interact with the full motion video, actually creating a different approach when you picked certain things, within the game, or certain decisions that would actually play out differently. Very intuitive, very intuitive. And, the game was, about 15, maybe 12 hours long, depending on how hard you played it, if it's the first time you played it or whatever. And people were just worrying about, it's 720p. And not only Digital Foundry pushed that issue, but everyone else that talked about it pushed that issue. They didn't talk about the game is fantastic. The game is wonderful. The game is doing fantastic things. And it's a beautiful game. And that's not what they concentrated on. No, they concentrated on, it's 720p. This is the problem. The Xbox One is not powerful enough. It's just gonna get worse. When the truth is, the graphics of Quantum Break were leaps and bounds far superior than most games on their console, if not more. And on top of that, anything that you would have seen on 360, anything that you would have seen on, on the Xbox OG, because the graphics were there, the power was there, the differences were there, but they were just at a slightly small, less clearer resolution, right? And that's the difference. Now, Digital Foundry, they're not doing that anymore. Now, they're making sure that the PS5 is less resolution and doesn't have as much detail, but it still looks wonderful. Like they're doing those reviews and analysis with a lot of responsibility, with a lot of unbiased, thought and process, right? And that is the hypocrisy that I've always said, and many of us said, me being one of the few and first people to do it, and calling them out last gen, and I was called toxic, I was called stupid, I was called a conspiracy theorist, I was called a hater, I was called like, you're in denial, you're an ex-twat, and now, you'll see even with Medium, all that shit that we're talking about, and it just came out a couple of days ago, that the Medium, even on PC, is struggling. Even with high-end PCs. Because they're doing something that wasn't done before. They actually have 2 different engines running at the same time at very high quality and standards. And even on the PC, it showed that it was taxing, right? On the CPU and the GPU on the graphic cards. And I'm glad those information are coming out, because it just shows how good of a consumer product the Xbox Series X and even the S really are for the price that you're paying as a gamer and a consumer. That's why I say that it's not really that they're damage controlling, but in essence, they are damage controlling. You see what I'm trying to say, segaman? segaman, can you hear me? Can you hear me, brother?
Yep, I can.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then,
so continue saying what you were saying.
Yaz Blast, he put all I want to see is Xbox being to announce solid state for release. I love the medium.
Oh, solid dates for releases. Yeah, the upcoming titles. Yeah, that's all they really need to do, Jazz Baz. To be honest, that's all they really need to do. Once they start saying, yeah, this is coming, because this year we're supposed to get Halo Infinite for sure. They announced the Gunk is coming out this year. Bright Memory Infinite's coming out this year. The Scorn is supposed to come out this year. The Crossfire X is supposed to come out this year. So there's a lot of titles that are exclusive. The only difference is a lot of them are not from in-house developers from Microsoft, but that's going to take time because they just acquired most of these developers maybe 2 years ago. So to them to do AAAs and do them right, and then under the conditions that we're in now, it's going to take time, Sega Man. Hello? Sega Man. Sega Man has been taken out of his own podcast, ladies and gentlemen. The ponies has got him.
No, I'm here, man. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Yeah, I'm here.
So what do you think about that?
Well, like you said, it's going to take time. You know what I mean? And I mean, you're going to see a lot more. You're going to see just a lot more greatness coming out of the Series X, man. I mean, you just are, especially for the value of what it costs too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's definitely worth the money. It's worth the $500 price point, and so is the Xbox Series S with the emulation too that it can do playing other games.
And the way and even the way they're running the games, because even though it may be in 1080p, some of the games still have those assets and those details. They still have, HDR Dolby Vision, which is the highest HDR, which the PlayStation 5 does not do. It still offers Dolby Atmos Surround, which the PS5 does not do. It does it with movies, yeah, but it hasn't done it with no games yet because they just haven't implemented it, because they have that 3D virtual sound, which is not nowhere near on the level of 3D Dolby Atmos Surround. Now I remember when Mark Cerny had said something about the audio system, and even Dolby Atmos themselves on Twitter called them out and said, your audio sound is nowhere near on the level of ours. So don't say that it is. And they called him out on that, which he never responded. He just stood quiet. And I'm glad they did that, because people need to see that. And the Xbox Series X is doing this, and then when you play your back compact games, they're getting enhanced better than what they were originally. Games that never had HDR with the auto HDR, that's a beautiful
Can you hear me?
feature. Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead.
That's a beautiful feature that really makes games look really nice. That don't have them with the auto HDR, and it's implementing it with such ease, and the way they promised. So, I'm just glad that people are going to start seeing it little by little, and of course, those SDKs were not mature enough yet, because the Microsoft was under NDA until NDA announced their new graphics cards. We all know this. So now that they're going to, give these developers the accessibility to the more mature dev kits, they're going to be able to really use it and show it with their games. And I'm pretty sure that with the exclusives, we're going to see it the most. I'm pretty sure Halo is going to really show that and showcase it. And games like Crossfire, even Scorn Medium looks incredible on the Series X, even on the Series S. But on the X, it just looks absolutely stunning. It's 4K. When it's 4K, when it does the split with the two worlds, it goes down a little bit, the resolution, but it's like in certain areas it's not that bad. But it's so gorgeous looking that it doesn't detract or deter from the game and how it looks, even. So this is. I'm just glad that now the foot is on the other side, because I've said it before. Even with the Xbox One, it was actually doing 1080p in 60 frames, which even the PlayStation Slim or Pro never really did. I think the highest resolution game they had was Spider-Man, and even that game was 4K, but it was 4K dynamic, and it was only in 30 frames. When Gears of War was actually 4K in 60 frames.
Oh yeah, definitely. You can tell too.
Oh yeah,
Definitely
you can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and you can tell. Like when people only play it in 1080p, it does look nice, but they're like, oh wait, it's no big deal because it still looks nice. But you can see the difference once you play in 4K. And if you haven't played it, you haven't played it real 4K, you're not going to understand until you see it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when you go back and look at 1080p in the games, you're going to notice, and you're going to tell the difference. You're going to be like, oh, damn, there is a big difference. But, of course, they play it off and try to act like, oh, no, you can't see it. It's not really a big deal. Which, right there, it tells you right off the back that they don't really know what they're talking about, and that they're just trying to try to act like, no, it's not a difference, just because they're in denial, basically, is what it is.
They've been in denial for a long time too. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Honestly,
yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
He wrote, we can pay attention to the negativity. We have
he said we can't.
On gaming in the media.
Yeah, he says that we can't pay attention to the negativity. We have to focus on gaming. The media has no clue how to discuss gaming.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. In a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, absolutely. In a lot of ways, yes. And it's showing now,
Yeah, it is. It really is, man. And didn't you say too that when when the Digital Foundry dudes were talking about the Division 2, didn't you say it sounded like it was hurting them that they had to do that? You know what I mean? Like it was bothering them. You know what I mean?
They almost sounded like, damn, like they were holding back, like they didn't want to give praises because it was bothering them that they had to do it, because there was no way to not point it out because it was evident in the video. You could see it. You see what I'm saying? So you can't lie when you can blatantly see it, or at least damage control it, right? For lack of a better term. So,
That's right.
But I mean, they get what they, and that's what they get for playing one-sided, in my personal opinion, so much last generation. So I'm not going to feel sympathy for them feeling now like, oh, fuck, we're messed up, or we're screwed now, because now what we're going to do when we do this or when we do that. The other guy, Rich Ledbetter, he'll just be like, yeah, it just looks better on the Xbox. And he'll try to be more like cool about it and more neutral about it.
Yeah.
But I know it bothers them. You could tell, because there's a different atmosphere and tone in their voice. And when they're talking, it's almost like they're in disappointment, but they have no choice because they need to stay face, because they're supposed to be a professional outlet somewhat, right? And if they don't do that, then it's going to take credibility away from them, from their viewers. So, I'm kind of happy, not because it gives us bragging rights, but because I feel what comes around goes around. And now it's their time to lay in their bed, right? For what they did all last gen.
Yeah.
No?
No, hey,
I can't feel sorry for them. I'm sorry.
I don't either, man. Hebot, read our brother Unlimited One Productions comment, man.
Sure thing. He said 1080p versus 900p was the greatest difference in the world. Yet no one can tell the difference between 4K and 1080p. LOL. Yeah, he's right. Funny. Yeah, because it's like I said, he's absolutely right. The differences between 1080p and 900 was 180p's, which is parallax. What's it called? No, it's progressive scan. That's what it stands for. P.
Yeah.
If it says 1080i, it's interlacing. And again, because of Microsoft having good upscalers, you can't even tell the difference, because it would look exactly identical from point to point, unless you played on a bigger 55-inch TV that stretched out the pixels, and maybe the Xbox One version would look a little bit more grainy and more pixelated, in certain edges, right, around the visuals of the game, but it would still stand up and look a lot better because even the black levels, the HDR were all better implemented on the Xbox One last generation than anything on PlayStation 4 or Pro. But he's absolutely right. Now that it's almost, we're talking about thousands of progressive lines of differences, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, oh, we can't really tell. Yeah, it's hysterical because for a fact that's a hypocrisy and that's a blatant lie. Yet they're trying to sell it to the casuals that come in because they know most people that are casuals, they don't really know what those technical terms are and what to look for when they're looking at the games and the image quality.
Exactly.
And if they're playing on a 1080p TV, it's even worse because they're just not seeing it, right? Even though it exists and it's there. And to be honest, there's people that have 4K TVs and don't even know how to run it correctly on their 4K TVs because they don't even know how to go into the menu and change it and make it, full limited or full when it comes to the bit rate for the HDR and for contrast, for example. They don't know how to make it full 4K and they'll leave it, just the way it is. And this is what's going on. And a lot of people don't even know this. So they're playing their games really at a lower quality. And then they look at it next to an Xbox game or multiplat, and they're like, oh no, the PlayStation 1 looks better because they don't have a clue of how to make the best and get the best performance out of their consoles. And this goes and even implies to last gen consoles like the Xbox One X and like the Xbox One in general. Like they'll be like, oh, well, it dips down to 1 or 2 frames in certain areas, but in reality, it's not enough to hinder the game in any way, shape, or form, or the experience to the gamer. Right. But they would make it seem like it did. Oh, it's very distracting, very this, very that. But then now, because it's PlayStation, it's all right. They're doing what they were supposed to be doing all along since last generation. And Jazz Baz, he's saying Digital Foundry tends to favor PS5 every single time. Amen, brother. Absolutely. When the PS5 is deficient in gameplay, they tend to drag Xbox into the conversation, even when Xbox performs solid or better. Absolutely right. It's almost like if you notice last generation, every time they did an Xbox game that was exclusive, another thing they would do would be they would compare it to the PC, right? Even though the conversation was supposed to be about console to console, not PC to console. But now since it's PS5 versus Xbox Series X,
yeah,
they'll try to, oh no, but it still looks wonderful. You know what I mean? Like they don't apply the same logic. But when it was Xbox games, they try to use it and compare it to a PC to kind of make it look bad, even though it had the advantage clearly over PlayStation 4 or PS4 Pro. You know what I mean, segaman?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is another situation and instance that they would do that they're not doing with PlayStation games right now,
Well, you know what, Hebot, we're going to see, as the year is coming into the 2021 here, and more into the months, new releases of these games coming out in 2021, 2022, and beyond, when they start utilizing the power of that Series X, and they have to do those videos, people are going to see firsthand, the proof is in the pudding. Now the tables are turned, man. You know what I mean? Tables are turned, man.
Right. But the beautiful thing is that you don't see Xbox guys. You don't see Xbox guys really dragging it in the way that you saw with PlayStation guys or media outlets last generation when it came to Xbox One versus PS4. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the wonderful thing, that you see the difference in maturity, mental state, and approach from a lot of the Xbox guys. They're not really, they're troll and they'll be funny about it, but they don't take it to the extreme and get personal and do overload about it. You see what I'm saying? They kind of just troll and just move on. They let it go, unless the PlayStation pony try to be funny and bring up some crazy shit like, oh yeah, but the PS5 is really 1,200 teraflops if you split it into three halves of one teraflop. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And that's when you see it, that they'll be like, oh, and you'll see that they'll troll them and say something stupid because they kind of look for it. They deserve it for being asinine in that sense, right? Look, T Reaper say maybe they never were thought the same business logic. We are talking about Sony after all. Laugh my ass off. PS2 DVD collection, remember? Smiley faces. Yeah, with the PS2 era, I remember everybody loved. What Reaper's talking about is that during the PS2 era, everybody loved the fact that the PS2 was had a DVD player, that it was fantastic.
Right.
And you know, and Xbox OG had one too, but they didn't. But you had to buy the controller separate in order to access it.
Yeah.
But they acted like the OG Xbox didn't have it. You see what I'm trying to say?
Right. And they were trying to do that with the Dreamcast too. Dreamcast, I think at one time, they did actually have where you can play DVDs, right? I think you had to use was it an expansion to it, but I thought you could. There was some way you could play DVDs with the Dreamcast. I thought.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. The Dreamcast had an adapter where you could actually play movies. Yeah, they were very hard to get because a lot of people didn't make them, but it absolutely was able to play, you know, DVDs. But you know, like I said, we got to remember that this has been an ongoing thing since the PS1. You know, the differences when PlayStation 1 was cheaper because, you know, Sony really didn't pay for the R&D. It was Nintendo, so they were able to afford to do that. And then the same way Sony didn't have internal IPs or in-house developers. They just bought out every single third-party publisher with their exclusives and even the IPs to put it on the Sony platform and make it seem like it was a Sony game. And people bought into the bullshit, you know? And, you know, this is practices that they've been doing for years because they had the big dollars. But now they don't have the big dollars. They're not the big king, you know, around the block. It's Microsoft. Microsoft got so much money, they can't even compete. So now they can't do that. But it's like when they say, oh, Microsoft just monopolizing gaming. They're trying to buy everybody instead of building, which that's a lie as well. But the biggest difference is Microsoft didn't have a lot of internal studios. So they had to buy more developers, especially in order to keep feeding Game Pass with content as the years go on forward in years to come. In order for you to do that, you have to have a lot of studios to make a lot of content so that you can have enough to feed the service. So it could warrant the money that you're spending for it monthly or yearly as a consumer, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just funny to me. But it's nothing new to me. It's nothing new to me because because I've been seeing this. We've been seeing this. Me, you, people like 100, E-Rock. We've been around the block long enough. Even, you know, Segaman, Sega Forever, you know, New Legal. We've been playing games so long. We've seen this. This is nothing new to us. So you know, it doesn't surprise us. But we're kind of being vindicated because everything we've said is coming to fruition little by little. And now people see it, but now they don't want to give us credit, or they want to say, oh, fuck y'all, or y'all didn't say shit, you know, try to take credit away from us and shit like that. Unlimited One Production says, what's crazy is when Digital Foundry doesn't praise PS5, Sony fans are outraged. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I saw a dude who made like 5 videos on the control comparison between PS5 and the Xbox Series X. And he's absolutely right. That is what they're doing. They lose their mind. Just like when they were saying that Sony wasn't paying them off when they did it in favor of PlayStation. They were like, no, it's just because it's better. You X-twats, you're just mad. You're just stupid. You're pissed because the console is way better and the Xbox is garbage, you know? It's kind of like when they do now, so still trying to run with the damn narrative saying, oh, Xbox have no games. No, Xbox has plenty of games. Difference being, there are all types of games from double A, single A, indie to triple A. And a lot of these guys act like if a game's not a triple A budget game, it's not really a game. And
Yeah.
that mentality right there is kind of asinine and stupid as well. Because it's like, what? What are you talking about? Not all games have to be AAA to be quality, to be good, or to be worthy to be talked about, or counted as an exclusive, for example, or worthy to be talked about as a good game. Because it's about, it's about, go back to the other comment if you can before it, Segaman.
Oh,
Because,
okay. Let's go back
because,
to this one, T Reaper.
yeah, because Xbox, has made some of the best AAA indies, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinion, last generation, and they're still doing it now with games like Ori and Cuphead, where those games solely exist because of the support and the backing and the funding of Microsoft, right?
Yeah, yeah.
C Reaper says Xbox bought digital age problem solved. Oh, brought the digital age problem is solved.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Xbox definitely pushed the digital age, and that was inevitable
Definitely.
because it's very convenient.
What's up with
Like
you,
I tell
Slayer?
people, it's very convenient, and that was going to happen at some point. But like I've always said, there's always room and space for physical and digital to exist, because a lot of people still enjoy and love digital, just like they still sell DVDs to this day when we're already up to 4K. So, it's not really a big deal. I think they can both coexist and be fruitful in both ends, because they're both going to sell for the audience that it placates to, or for the audience that that love it, right? And plus, always remembering and keeping in mind that licensing is always going to be a big burden when it comes to digital, because a lot of companies don't want to negotiate licenses, and that's why we've lost a lot of games, like the beat 'em up from the Warriors, like Sour Patch Kids, like Marvel versus Capcom 1 that was from the arcade, like Ultimate Alliance, like Transformers War for Cybertron, and the other one, the first two. A lot of good games, even Forza 1, you can't buy it no more digitally because of licenses. But if you have that physical copy,
Like
guess
me and
what?
you do.
Yeah, you just pop it in and you play it in all of its glory, and not have to worry about not being able to revisit those games that you have in your collection and library. So that's why I said digital will always have a place in gaming. It will never be full digital, because just people know that and appreciate what physical brings to the table. So we got Jez Bez, and he says all PlayStation fanboys focus on not real neutral PS5 gamers is on sales and MPDs. Right. They do. They did that all last generation when they didn't have nothing else to fight about,
Exactly.
like the power narrative, or the brick situation, or the resolution. Once they lost all that, it always turned back to, oh, look at the sales. Oh, look at the MPDs.
Xbox has no games.
Right, Xbox has no games. And it said instead of giving credit to Xbox for working with second and third party independent developers to bring solid hits to the Xbox Game Pass. You're 100% right, Jazzbaz. 100% right. Had Microsoft not been doing what they've been doing for so long and to this point, and it was only the offerings that we were only getting were from Sony and Nintendo, we would be really, really, really far behind in the gaming industry right now. And I've said this alongside my brothers, we've said this for a long time. Microsoft evolves and push gaming forward. And if it wasn't for Microsoft, gaming wouldn't be where it is today. You know what I mean? Hey, Sick Slayer, how are you? He says, hey, hey. Just like, just like Sega did it before them. Sega, they were the ones pushing the envelope even more than Nintendo, to be honest.
Oh yeah, they was. They did.
Way more than Nintendo. And people they didn't want to admit that even back then. Oh no, Nintendo's better. Really? Well, what are they doing? To this day, Nintendo still has the same IPs, the same main IPs, and never really went out the realm to do new IPs. Now, it wasn't until like the Wii U where they did Splatoon, one of the new IPs they did, and that's a multiplat or multiplayer since a long time. You know what I mean? But they got Pikmin, Pokemon that they bought from the Pokemon house, Metroid, which they haven't done in a game in a while unless it was for DS, Zelda, Mario Brothers, Furby, right? Or Kirby, right? Kirby, or Yoshi, or just over and over, characters which were really spin-offs of Mario Brothers, right?
Yeah.
So again, it just goes to show you how Nintendo and Sony get so many passes. Meanwhile, Microsoft's trying to introduce all these new IPs like they did last gen, and then they looked at us, oh, they're a joke. Every IP has to start from somewhere. Every IP has to get an opportunity and a chance to grow and become what it is. If it becomes big or semi-big. Just like Mario did when it first started, just like Donkey Kong, just like Pac-Man, just like every game that became iconic in gaming history, it started from somewhere. And in order for it to grow, you had to start from somewhere. So making fun of Sea of Thieves when it first came out, and now it's probably the most played game online, right? And it grows every time.
Right now, he bought. Sea of Thieves is huge.
Yeah, it keeps growing. Plus it's a very big stream game for the streaming scene. Just shows you that you can't have that type of mentality about any new IP. Every new IP, how many new IPs came out that deserved sequels and deserved to be iconic, that got pushed to the side just because they weren't given a fair chance? It's a shame. And it's a shame that us people that call ourselves real gamers, that we don't even admit to it, that it was our fault for not supporting it or for not giving it a second chance. But yet they want to say, oh, but Microsoft don't make sequels. Yes, they do. They made Ori 2. They made Crackdown 3. They made, other titles that were new, and they're trying to expand on them. And then it was like, oh, it's not good enough because it's not a AAA. You hear like dumb rhetoric like that, which is stupid and dumb, especially coming from a gamer or a person that calls themselves a real gamer. So Unlimited One Productions is saying it is crazy. A video game is a video game. Hell, I just played Werewolf the Apocalypse, a fun AA game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
A very fun game. You had fun. It was from a new developer, a new publisher. Not really talked about very much, not really marketed very much because obviously they didn't have the budget to market it. But people are playing it and they had a good time. Video games has always been about discovery. Always. And that's why Game Pass is a good outlet for those type of games. Because when people will hesitate to say, well, I'm going to buy this game because it's $60 or $50 or $40. I don't know if I should buy it because it doesn't look too good.
Right.
But when you play it on Game Pass in its entirety and you test it out, you're like, damn, this game is dope. Guess what? That person gets enthusiastic and buys the game.
Yep.
And now the game is gaining an audience.
Game Pass.
Huh?
That's the whole point of Game Pass.
Yeah, that's what the beauty of Game Pass really is, because they start to gain an audience and they don't die in the shelves for $2 or $3 if they're sitting on GameStop because nobody wants to give it a chance. Until it's $2 or $3 when the developers already either closed down, makes no type of money, and it's not even worth anymore making a sequel or making more games,
Yeah.
And that's what people in the industry that call themselves gamers need to understand, need to address. We need to push that message because that's what it's all about. And a lot of them don't do it. And I see it firsthand every time when I watch certain people. I'm like, damn, the following you have, the audience you have, and yet you still downplaying and adding more fuel to the fire by saying, oh, the game's not good enough, or it's just playing on Game Pass, it's not worth the money. Like, gamers don't talk like that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Real gamers. Go ahead, segaman. I'm sorry.
No, I'm listening to you.
Just, real gamers that respect the industry, real gamers that respect the culture, they don't speak like that. We never did. Back in the day, we played all types of games. And the game sucked. Guess what? We were stuck with it, and we just moved on. To the next. We would trade with someone that maybe might like the game, because even though you might not like a game, believe it or not, there's someone out there that might enjoy that game that you don't like. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm proof of that all the time. I can't stand Horizon Zero Dawn. I think it's boring. Same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. Do it have great production value? Absolutely. Do they have nice graphics? Yes. Do they have nice storytelling or good, decent stories? Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Do they have good motion capture? Absolutely. But the game itself, I find them to be very boring, lackluster. Not enough gameplay, not enough gameplay innovation or gameplay, like different mechanics in the gameplay. So they make me go to sleep.
Uncharted was very boring. I played it. It was boring. It was so
absolutely
boring.
Uncharted for me was very overrated as well. And yet, look at all the people that have been, oh my God, it's the greatest thing since popcorn. It's the greatest thing since caramel slice. Since pizza, since Jesus himself. You see what I'm saying? You know what I mean, Sega Man? So, at the end of the day, there's always a place for a game for certain types of gamers,
Yeah.
That's why I said it's bad to just downplay and add more fuel to the fire to a game just because you may not appreciate it. That's why I'll say when they ask me, what do you think about the game? I give my honest opinion, but I give the reasons why. I just don't talk bad about it. I'll give my reasons and try to be as fair and as precise as possible. Go back to the other comment real quick, Sega Man. And then they'll say, oh, no, you're just a hater. You're crazy. You're not a real gamer. Are you stupid, he-bot? Yet I've been playing since 1979. I know when a game is great. I know when a game is average. I know when a game is good. I know when a game is overrated. I know when a game is overhyped. I know when a game deserves all the praises. I know because I've played long enough to know. You know it as a gamer. So T Reaper said, not all games have to be only exclusives to be enjoyable to play.
Facts, T Reaper. Facts.
Either just saying different folks
that's right.
for different strokes. He meant to say different strokes for different folks. Absolutely, T. Yeah. Just exclusives are not only important anymore. Absolutely. That was a thing of the past because in the past you didn't really have a lot of third-party publishers making games that were willing to put an exclusive to your console. So the way you had to feed the console was by doing exclusives more than often. But at the same time, back then, exclusives weren't as expensive to make as it is today. So nowadays, you got to take all that into accountability because then, you got to take the price, the budgeting. Sometimes, games are not cheap. You can't just make AAA games and exclusive games and that's it. It just doesn't work anymore. It's impossible.
Yeah.
So, that's another factor that a lot of people sometimes they just, overlook. Go to the next comment that you did.
Let's go to Unlimited One, our brother. Let's go to Unlimited One Production.
It says if it weren't for Sunset Overdrive, State of Decay 2 would have been my favorite Xbox exclusive last gen. Oh, if it weren't for Sunset. Okay. So basically what he's saying, that if Sunset Overdrive never came out, State of Decay 2 would have been his favorite Xbox exclusive last gen. To me, it was phenomenal, and to a lot of people, Unlimited, it was phenomenal. My kid, my boy, and my son, he loves that fucking game. But I've always said that that game is better and more enjoyable, in my opinion, when you play with friends.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't enjoy it. Like me myself playing by myself, I couldn't really enjoy it as much, but I still had fun with it. You know what I mean? It's not one of my favorite games, but I know it's a well-made game. It's well balanced. It offers a lot of diversity in what you can do. It doesn't hold your hand, and that's what makes it appealing. And I see why people like it. And we interviewed the people who did State of Decay. Undead Labs, I think was I think that's their name. Before they even got owned.
Dead Labs.
Okay. Before they even got acquired by Microsoft. As a matter of fact, we did the interview on the Micropod of X podcast. Shout outs to Microbox, Sherman, Andy.
I saw them good brothers, man.
E-Rock and Del Poi, right? That were all part of that podcast.
Them guys, man.
Right. So we interviewed them the day before they made the announcement that they got acquired, to be honest. And it was something hysterical because we were just telling them, would you be considered to be purchased by Microsoft if the opportunity presented itself? And the guy kind of tried to play it off. He's like, we kind of like our independency, but it all depends if it's the right situation. And it was funny because they knew it already, but they couldn't say nothing. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it was hysterical because the very next day, boop, they got announced. And we were like, wow. We were like, yeah, because we were watching reactions of E3, and that's when they announced it and stuff. So, it's funny. So Jazz Baz is saying...
Ebot, before you go on, I want to say that they also did a good thing. Dead Labs. They made a T-shirt for Black History Month that you can actually purchase in the game and in real life. They did a T-shirt.
Oh, really? Wow, that's really nice. Yeah, that's nice. It was a very nice. It's a very nice gesture.
It's a very nice shirt too. I'm thinking about getting it. It's a really nice shirt. You can get it in the game, and you can get it physically if you want to purchase it.
Nice. That's a very, very nice and classy gesture to acknowledge, Black History Month and the month of history of Black History Month. Even though, Black history, just like any other history, should be talked about all year long, in my opinion. In my opinion.
I agree.
Because all history, no matter whether it's from blacks, Jews, Hispanics, if it made an impact in the world, it should be acknowledged all year long. Always.
Yeah.
Always. Because we kind of forget certain elements and certain people of those. For example, in Black history, they usually talk about Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, what's her name? The lady that in the bus, I forget her name. Oh my God. Mary Tubman. When there's so many other Black icons and historical people that made such an impact in the world and in society, like the man who created the traffic light, for example, or the man who created the toilet or the TV, they were all Black. You see what I'm saying?
George Washington Carver with the peanut butter and peanuts and stuff he does.
Absolutely.
With peanuts,
Absolutely. So it's hard, I think, to just in 1 month put all those people that made such an impact in the world under one bracket in 1 month. And again, I think it should apply to every history that's celebrated, whether it's Latino, whether it's Black, whether it's Jew, because we miss some of those people during that process. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And it gets left, and then it gets left behind, and then you won't talk about it again until next year. And then what ends up happening is they talk about the same people all over again. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. You see? When there's a lot more people in the Black community, in the Black heritage, that had really big, significant parts of life and history of the world, as an example. So that's why I say that. But it's still a very nice gesture that they're doing that. That's absolutely a class act, in my opinion. Jez Bez is saying, in my opinion, The Ascent, Mech Warriors 5, Scorn, Second Extinction, Warhammer Dark Tides, Stalker 2, Halo, 12 Minutes, The Gunk, Bright Memory, and I'll add to that Crossfire X, Yakuza Like a Dragon, The Medium that came out, The Falconeer. All the look really good. Absolutely, absolutely. More interesting than any game on PlayStation 5. For the most part, I agree also, because I haven't really seen anything out of the ordinary on PS5. I mean, they're getting another Ratchet and Clank. That's number 15 in the series. They're getting Returnal, which is a shooter, but it looked kind of like a Dead Space mixed with a shmup in third person. It might be interesting. I'm interested in it, but it doesn't look like something different or unique that we haven't seen before. What else they have? Oh, and Horizon Zero Dawn 2 that's supposed to come out this year as well. Those are games already that we've been there, done that, and seen. So they don't really look different or unique like some of the other ones that you mentioned in that list that are kind of being their own thing and are different, or that we don't have a lot of in that genre.
Yeah.
So I agree. I can see that. I can definitely see that. I don't know. I can definitely see that. I see where he's coming from, So, Oh, Unlimited said, Uncharted is too static for me. For example, when you climb, you don't climb anywhere like in Assassin's Creed. You have to climb up the yellow bars instead of jumping to windows or something cool. Right. I get what you're saying. Well, Unlimited, I completely agree with you in the sense of freedom that you get with open world games, because everything's open. I do. My problem with open world games has always been that the settings don't change enough for me. It feels like the same thing with just a little bit of cosmetic makeup on top. But with a lot of games, as they've gotten further and the technology, that's also gotten a lot better with games like Assassin's Creed, for example, where you'll go into a cave, a dungeon, or a different town, or on a boat to another town, and it looks really different and distinct versus where you were previously. I still love the level-based formula. I really do, because you can add a lot of cinematic moments, add more different gameplay mechanics into the game, like car segments and turret segments, flying segments, whatever the case may be. And then dedicated to that level itself, or a lot of the details can be higher resolution, look a lot more better, and a lot more refined. Even though that's also an area where open worlds have gotten better, also where they have so much detail that they look really good, and you can't even tell if they're open world or level based in some games, in some instances as well. But I understand for 100% what you're talking about, the sense of freedom that you don't feel like you're just locked, and I get it. I think I agree. I think that part of open worlds is probably the best of the formula, of the open world formula. The freedom of feeling like you can do what you want and how you want to do it and the approach you want to do it.
Yeah.
But I still love my, I don't know. I guess I could appreciate them both, but me preferably, I like the level-based games because you can put so many different levels and look way different and distinct, as opposed to just a little bit when you do it in open world, because it's all got to load in real time, and that's very taxing for open world games, especially to the CPU and the GPU. But I think it'll get better with the more powerful console game, we're gonna come to a point where even open world games can match what you get with level based games as far as the variety and the differences in levels and looks and stuff like that. Um, I'm pretty sure that's gonna just get better and better as it goes forward. And plus the crazy moments like with boss battles, I enjoy that, like with Ninja Gaiden or Ninja Blade or Vanquished or
Yeah, Ninja Blade.
Bayonetta or Binary Domain or Enslave or Enclave or games like like I always enjoyed that, or Devil May Cry. I always enjoyed those games a lot. Um, he had put another comment before that.
He was finishing off about
Go-
Uncharted. Uncharted
Oh
here.
yeah, he said Uncharted. All the cool moments are QTEs or cutscenes or a scene you don't have real control over. Yeah, that is true. That's another thing. It looks pretty, but it's not fun. That is true because for some reason with Sony games, when they do those segments, they look cool, but they really don't give you freedom to control shit. Like other games have implemented QTE, but they do it where you can actually control a nice amount of it and they blend it in with the QTE. But for some reason with Sony games, they don't really do that. And when you try to explain that to the Sony fan base or to people that like their games, they don't get it and they look at you like you're crazy. You know what I mean? Um, I can think of an example right now off the top of my head where in God of War, the new one, when you fight Boromir, there's a whole bunch of cool scenes where he grabs him and he grabs a tree trunk and shoves it in his stomach and he runs like a couple of miles in distance with him ramming it into him, and then he rams him to a rock. And when you do that, all you do is you just press the X button once and it does it by itself. You don't even move them. You can't shake them. You can't move the tree. You can shrug it, do different things, hit them in different areas. You can't do none of that. You just press X and it plays out. Or when he's fighting Boromir in the middle of the air, they're beating up each other, and you're just looking at it as a cutscene. You don't have no control. When in Batman Origins, for example, and even in Ninja Blade, there's a segment where you're fighting the
I love
Joker.
that game.
Where you're fighting the Joker, I don't know if you remember, and you're falling down, and you're beating the hell out of each other, but you control the whole thing, and it's a
Yeah,
QT at the same time.
yeah.
And that's cool because it makes it fun and also cinematic. And that's the difference between what you see on a PlayStation game versus a traditional game that already implemented the cinematic cutscene move or segments, like in a lot of other games. He says, and the Tomb Raider reboot fixed that. When you control Laura, you do all the cool stuffs while controlling her instead of watching the cool moments and holding up on the left stick. Yes, absolutely. Tomb Raider is definitely the reboot a good example. Very good example. You
Ebot.
and even it felt more like a sandbox and it felt like a big map that was in sections, and every time you passed the section, it opened up the new section and then it connected together, which I also appreciated. That it felt more like open world mixed with levels, and I like when those games are like that. I like that a lot about Tomb Raider. I absolutely agree. And even when you climbed up the mountains, you didn't have to climb up a specific way. You could move around, shimmy, and go up on the other side to give you at least the illusion and feel like you have the freedom. Unlike Uncharted, is all it feels almost like it's on rails, but you still control it. I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, yeah,
Hebot.
yeah.
What I wanted to say real quick, man, is I played the PlayStation 3 and the games, and I just there's only one game I like on that whole system, man, and that was Resistance. I've tried the Uncharted's and the God of Wars, and I just couldn't get into them. I tried, and it was boring to me. I lost interest, but I did like the Resistance, the Gears of War knockoff. I did like the Resistance games. They were good. I beat all three of them, 1, 2, and 3. I thought they were pretty decent. But as far as their
Right.
other big games on there, he bought, I just could not get into them, man, at all. I lost
Right,
interest very quick. You know.
right. Like the Killzone always looked very pretty,
Yeah.
but the game felt flat when you played it. It didn't feel fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just didn't feel fun. It looked nice, but it didn't feel fun. And that's the difference that a lot of gamers today, the new age gamers, they don't seem to comprehend that. They don't seem to understand the logic behind it. It could look nice, but if it doesn't feel fun or give you enough control or sense of control, um, it just becomes boring, right? And that's what I try to explain to gamers without making it seem like I'm being hateful towards PlayStation games. I try to be as descriptive and intelligent about my descriptions when I tell them, and they just look at me like I'm crazy. It's like, what? I was like, I guess you had to be a root gamer and playing for so many years like me in order to understand. I guess they just really they go by the Bible of PlayStation games, and they don't see nothing wrong with it. It's crazy. Yeah, Unlimited Ninja Blade was an awesome game. Hope
That physically, man. I
Hope
hope it
is
comes.
DC. Yeah, for sure. I believe Unlimited. I sent a copy of Ninja Blade to my brother Segaman. That was one of the first things I actually gifted him. I think, right?
No, you gifted me Azure's Wrath or something.
Azura's Wrath. Okay,
Azure's
and
Wrath, yeah.
I know it was another game too, but I don't remember.
Yeah, it was
Um,
Azure's Wrath and what was the other one? What was that? There was another game. I forgot what it was. It wasn't Ninja Blade. There was something else you did gift me though.
right, right.
Was
Well,
it
I
the
gotta go back to
Watchmen
your video. I
or
gotta go back
something?
to your video. I
It's
gotta go
one of
back
them.
to your video. All I know is yeah, Ninja Blade was a perfect example. Just like Azura's Wrath, they were very heavy on QTE, right?
Yeah, Azure's Wrath is a good
But
game.
but they gave you a lot of gameplay variety
Yeah,
within the game. Like in Azura's Wrath, there was sections where you were shooting. There were sections when you were flying. There were sections when you did QTE and fighting at the same time. There were
yeah,
sections where it was a beat 'em up. There was a section where it was a 2D fighter like Street Fighter. There were sections where you were fighting an arena-based fighter like the way you do with those Naruto games. As a matter of fact, the people who do those are the ones who did Azura's Wrath. Arc System Works. Or not Arc System Work. Oh my God, they slipped my mind. But when I remember, I'll say
Say
who
it
it is.
again. Say it again, Hebot.
The developer, I forgot the name of them. They're the same ones who did the new Naruto games, and and things like that. So those games, for example, like Azura's Wrath and Ninja Blade, they did heavy QTE, but they did it right. They mixed
Yeah,
it and blended with a
yeah,
variety of gameplay mechanics. You actually leveled up different weapons. Each weapons had different moves. Each weapon did at least 12 to 15 to 20 moves. Each weapon was dedicated to different characters. You had insane boss battles. You had insane platforming. You had insane QTE moments, and that's what I try to tell people. You can use cinematic moments with QTEs, but you can do it right with actual gameplay and gameplay variety and mechanics. And that's what the PlayStation games don't offer, and they don't get it. They do not get it. They just don't. Okay, Unlimited Production says, to me, Nintendo feels stuck in the past. Sony games feel like wannabe movies. They pretend to be games. So you get good graphics, but boring and shallow gameplay experiences. Amen, brother. That's exactly how I feel about Sony games. And I have some Sony games that I absolutely love and adore, but those are games that people don't even know and remember. Like Bujingai, like Chaos Legion, like Genji, like Blood Will Tell. Games that are like really
they have some
good
good
games.
shoot 'em ups too. They got some good shoot 'em ups.
Good
They
shoot
got
'em
some
up.
good shoot 'em
Yeah,
ups
yeah.
on there.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
most of the time, their fan base that they have now, they don't even know what they are. We tell them what they are, they're like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And I'm like, really, dude? I know more about Sony than you. And you call yourself a Sony fan? And Nintendo, for me, definitely feels stuck because although they may innovate and try different things with their consoles, and I give them credit for that.
Yeah.
Their games always feel like they haven't progressed enough. They just feel like the same thing, very safe. The formula is always the same. They feel very safe, but they always feel the same. Like they just get better and better based on the way that they already are. But we already used to and know what type of games they are. You know what I mean? Like even with Odyssey, Mario Odyssey, it felt new, it felt fresh, but it was very familiar territory. It wasn't really doing enough different that we hadn't seen before. But they're still fun games. But they don't feel like they've evolved, like graphically, or the fact that none of their characters even talk with real language or voiceover. It's always dialogue, text, dialogue, text. It's weird. It's very weird. But people don't ever call out. They just love it. You know? Oh my God, the greatest thing ever. You know? I mean, even Zelda, I was surprised they went with the open world formula. But even when you look at the world, yeah, the game it plays and it's fun and it looks awesome. But the world feels kind of dead because it doesn't have enough going on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to knock the game because the game is really good, but it just, it doesn't feel like what you would see with an Assassin's Creed as the world being alive, right? Or with something like Red Dead, for example, or even, I don't know, GTA. I know those are not good examples because they're very different games, but I'm saying how the world looks and feels with the open world. So yeah, but their games just feel too safe. They don't feel like they're moving forward. They just feel safe. Like if it's not broken, don't fix it. That's the kind of feel I get with Nintendo games. So Jazz Baz and segaman, I guess this could be the last comment we read because I got to get out of here. It's my daughter's birthday. I got to meet up with her too.
We got to get going. Yeah, we've been on here for a while now.
Yeah, we get good conversation. That's why I'm scared to do shows with you because we don't stop. No, it's always a pleasure. You know
I love
that,
it, man. I love doing this. You know that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So it says, Sega Man, you're on the money, brother. Resistance was my favorite game on PS3. PS4 generation didn't have any multiplayer games that came close to it. So far, it looks like PS5 is going to repeat the same generation as PS4.
I agree.
The sad truth of it is you're probably right. You're probably right. Even though that game, that car game they did, is multiplayer and it's supposed to feel. I heard it's fun. It looks fun.
What car
For me,
game?
it looks like
that?
The one they made, Destruction something. I forget what it's called. It kind of looks like a mixture of Destruction Derby from back in the day with Rocket League. That's what it looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It looks fun. I want to play it, to be honest. I want to try it. It looks fun. Thank you, Unlimited. Yes, she turns 18. I have one little baby left. My girls are growing up. They're all leaving dad.
Happy birthday to my brother.
Happy birthday to my daughter, Anastasia. Happy birthday to my daughter, Anastasia. Happy birthday, my daughter, Anastasia. I love you, honey. I wish you the best. I know you may not hear this, but if you do, Daddy always will love you no matter what, and I'm very proud of you. So,
quinceañera?
No, her quinceañera was actually, we celebrate the Sweet 16. Quinceañera is mainly in the Mexican culture. Yeah, quinceañera is mainly in the Mexican culture. The Puerto Ricans, we usually tend to celebrate Sweet 16s, but don't get me wrong, they have done Sweet 15s or quinceañeras also. They have done that, yeah. But we predominantly tend to do Sweet 16s. But either way, it's it's the same thing. So basically, I think we're not gonna see the real fruits of this. Thank you, T Reaper. Oh, lucky you! He bought. Happy birthday to her. Thank you, T Reaper. I appreciate that, brother. I think I think we won't see the real fruits of gamers or developers labor this generation, Sega Man,
Yeah.
for a while due to COVID. But I
Oh yeah.
think we're going to be
That plays a big
surprised.
part in it.
Right. But I think we're going to be really surprised when we start getting the big hitters. That's really my final thoughts and what I can say about that. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised, and we're going to really, really have a wonderful generation once it kicks off. You see what I'm saying?
This is just the beginning, Hebot. I mean, it's going. I
Right.
mean, I think we're going to see some. You know what I think, Hebot? Before we leave, I think we're going to see some amazing uh, graphics and stunning gameplay from.
Yeah. I think we're going to see a lot of ingenuity and a
Yeah,
lot of different, like a lot of things that are going to be tried out to try to innovate and move gaming forward. I really do. I think developers are hungry, and I think they're trying to find ways into make gaming, that experience that we used to have back in the day, that when we saw something new, it was like, oh man, what is this? I think they're really trying to do that. Like, I have the feeling they're really trying to figure that out right now. And I think they will. And I really think that like the VR space might grow where it's going to be part of that experience as well. I really have a feeling as well.
you think so?
Yeah, because they're really pushing VR. They haven't let it go, and that's good. Because it's trial and error. They keep trying, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
the more they try, the better they're getting, and better and better. So I really do think it's good. We're going to be shocked, I think, and surprised this generation. It's going to take a while, at least 2 to 3 years, but I think once it hits, it's going to hit. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think you're right. It's going to take a while, but it'll be worth the wait. You know.
Right, right.
You
We're
know.
in
It's one of
different
those things.
times, different situations. All this is different. We've never been in this type of situations as gamers in the gaming culture. We've never been in this time of this situation ever before, where
Oh yeah.
everything's so delayed, where everything's being hurt. So yeah, I think we're in for a treat, to be honest.
Hey, Hebot, I
Team,
think I think we are going to see the power of the Series X, the true power of the Series X when it comes to the new Hellblade. I think we're going to be
oh yeah,
very
Hellblade is going to
impressed.
be one. Fable is going to be
Yeah,
another one.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Even probably the new Forza too. Like,
Oh,
there's a lot of good things. Yeah, a
Forza
lot of
8.
good things.
Oh, yeah,
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 they went back and started from the drawing board again. Those
yeah,
guys they're just perfectionists. They are Turn 10 are perfectionists. That's how they
yeah,
are.
yeah.
So T Reaper said, "Great show." No, great show because you guys give us the support. If it wasn't for you guys, this show wouldn't be relevant. So thank you guys
Well, I want
for
to
making.
thank everybody for coming out to Game Talk with Sega Man and rocking out with me and Hebot. I really appreciate it, man. My brother Hebot got to go. He got to celebrate his daughter's birthday. You know what I'm saying? But I want to just thank everybody for coming and hanging out with us. We did start late, but next weekend we'll go a little earlier. But I'm just thankful that all you guys came out, hung out with us. Yaz Blast, T Reaper, Unlimited One Productions. You know what I'm saying? Slick Slayer was in here. Who else was in here? We had T Reaper, our brother T Reaper. 100 Intramedia Gaming
100, absolutely.
was in here. You know what I'm saying? It was a great show tonight, Hebot, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate you.
it's always a pleasure. Thank you for trusting in me to be your sidekick as always. You know how it is.
All right, Hebot, brother. On that, man, salute. Give yourself a shout out, man, and tell the people where they can find you, man.
Salute to you, brother. Shout outs to my man Sega Man, and Game Talk with Sega Man. Like always, you guys can find me in social media, on Twitter, Hebot Powerful Gamer, on Instagram, C_respect on Xbox Live, He bought 8 on Nintendo Switch, He bought 8 on the PlayStation. Al fell from sky. You can always find me on the Exile podcast on Sunday nights with our brother E-Rock, which we will be going on an hour earlier because he wants to have some other guest from overseas. And you can find me on We Got Next whenever I'm able to do it, of course, which I will be doing.
Yeah.
I will be doing one soon. I just haven't felt I just feel like I need more game
Coming.
topics to do a good show,
It's coming.
because I have to feel in the mood, right? Because if I'm feeling sick, it's hard for me to host it. But
Yeah.
that's why I'm grateful that Sega Man does the show, E-Rock does his show, and always, like 100, you can find me there when he invites me also onto the Xbox Got No Games podcast with
Yeah.
intromediagaming.com.
They be
Big
going
shout out
buck
to
wild on
them.
there, man.
Yeah, it's fun. It's just fun. It's fun. And
Yeah.
big shout out to J Dubs too, because he invites me sometimes from time to time at Retro Renegades. Go check those
Yeah.
guys
The
out. They're a lot of
graphic
fun
god.
too. Yeah,
Check
with the
them out.
graphic guy. Yeah, yeah. So guys, love you. Peace out. Sega Man, love you, my brother. Peace out as always. It's always a great fun and great pleasure to be here with you.
Well, and thank you very much, Ebot, for coming again, man, on Game Talk with Sega Man. And you can always find me on my channel, man, at Sega Man 101, where I talk about retro gaming, gaming news, things of that sort. And I'm rocking out here every Saturday with my boy Hebot, man. You know what I'm saying? You guys be safe out there. Power to the Xbox gamers. And wear your damn mask, all right? Peace.
Wear your damn mask.